Hey guys, welcome to Cooking with Chase. Today we're going to be talking about palm puree and mashed potatoes. Something that I think everyone has had, or probably a lot of people have tried to make. We're going to talk about kind of a little bit of a deep dive on what's happening, why we do things the way we do them, and really explaining how to get that perfect, velvety, super creamy, smooth potato. And you'll notice there's not a lot of stuff going on here because I'm not a proponent of, when it comes to mashed potatoes, of roasted garlic or even pepper. Just butter, unsalted, salt, potato, some cream. Now I would normally use whipping cream, but they didn't have any at the store, so we've got 18% non-fat table cream, which will work fine. So let's get into it. Okay, so as with anything, when there's not a lot of ingredients, technique and what you're using comes into play very, very heavily. So the type of potato you want to go with is really important. So you do want to avoid a russet or a really starchy potato at all costs. The reason why russets work so great for home fries and French fries is the exact reason why they don't work so well for mashed potatoes. So you want a low starch potato, like yellow flesh to Yukon Gold. A fingerling will work great. And then the goal there is to agitate it as little as possible. So in the same way that kneading bread develops gluten, working potatoes develops starch, which is the gluiness of the glue of the potato, right? Starch is sugar. They get really sticky, they get glumpy, they get just very unpleasant, right? So the goal is to cook the potato in a way that extracts as much starch as we can, and then combine it with fat, which in this case is cream and butter. But if you're using milk and butter, exact same concept. Combine it with that fat as smoothly as possible. So we're going to boil these potatoes because that boiling actually pulls out the starch. You can see all the scum on top of when you're boiling potatoes. That's the starch, right? So we want that out, but we're going to not move them at all when they're in the pot. And then when they come out, we're going to pass them through a fine mesh sieve, like this. Is that your right? Show that. And we're going to do that so we're not running them through like a Robo Coupe or even mashing them a bunch, right? It's good once they're through the sieve, they're not getting touched again. That's kind of the idea of this. So you push through, they're pureed, and then they're not touched again. So those are kind of the tricks and tips here. So the other thing is you don't want to cut your potatoes into too small of pieces, but you want to get them pretty uniform for boiling. So I kind of like to go roughly inch by inch by inch, just very rough measurement. But that will give you something that will cook fairly quickly, but also give enough time to extract the starch out. So these guys, I'm just cutting them in half and then kind of just going 1 inch roughly pieces. That guy was just a little thicker, so I'm going to cut that one in half. Okay, so those are cut up. Grab our water in here. This is cold water. We're going to start these potatoes from cold. We're going to bring them up very quickly and then keep them not even at a boil, just barely a simmer. We're thinking about poaching them more than boiling them, right? The idea behind that is that you don't want the outside of the potato to overcook before the inside is cooked. You want it completely cooked evenly throughout. Because when you overcook the potatoes, I get just a bit too much water in here. Just going to drain some of that. Get this guy on high heat. When you overcook the potato, it starts to accept water into it. It gets watery. And then you have potato, water, and fat. And water and fat do not want to mix, right? So those are kind of, it's this fine balance. And this is the danger of boiling the potato, and why some recipes will say bake them or steam them, right? The problem, in my experience, is with baking and steaming Yukon Gold, is there's so much starch that you're not getting rid of any of the starch, and you can end up with kind of that gluey consistency to potato. Okay, so we're gonna get this heavily salted water. Talking 2 tablespoons of salt at least. A lot of the seasoning for these potatoes is going to come from that water, from that salt being pulled into the potato as they cook, just like pasta. So you want to go quite heavy on the seasoning here. Grab a lid. So the next point you want to do, and this is another tip to help get really smooth potatoes, is you want your cream and your butter warm. So I'm putting all that in. These are decadent. These are holiday potatoes. So don't be skimpy on the cream or on the butter. So I'm probably going for, and this is portions for 6 people probably, somewhere in that neck of the woods, but that's 3 tablespoons of butter. So half a tablespoon per person. And then a cup of cream, roughly. And we might not use all of this, you know. It will depend on how the potatoes kind of mix up, but this is what I'm going to start with. And we're not going to boil this or try to reduce this. We're just getting it warm. Okay, well, we're going to get these potatoes cooking. We'll come back in a minute and see how they're coming along here. Potatoes have been going for about 5 minutes here, and I just wanted to show you some stuff. So you see all of this on top of here, all that foam, that's starch that's coming out, right? So that's what we're going for out of these potatoes. So we're starting to get low bubbles. We're going on to low, turning down the heat. So we don't want it at a rolling boil. We're just going to poach these potatoes. We can take the lid off. Our butter, we're going on low as well because we don't want any reduction to it, or else the cream will separate. Yeah, we're just going to let these cook for a little bit longer. Then we're going to mash up some potatoes. Our potatoes are done. And you're just looking for them to be completely cooked through, you know, not falling apart, just nicely cooked potatoes. So what we're going to do, we'll come over to the sink, give them a drain. You can see how they're not falling apart when I pour them out. That's a good sign that you've done they're not overcooked. And this is a stage that is super critical, and I think gets forgotten a lot, is giving these 45 seconds, minute, 30 seconds, whatever, to just steam. There's still a lot of liquid on the outside of the potato. All that steam that's coming off is all of that liquid, and we really do not want to be fighting with water at this stage in the game. So, my oven was just still warm from cooking down the braised beef. So I just get my cream and my butter warm in there. Thought the cream split. Here we go. Okay. We're going to get that ready to go. Hot container. Let's feel. Give them another minute. What I'm looking for is you can start to see kind of white forming on the edge there. I don't know if that shows up on camera. Hopefully it does. Kind of like right there. That's a good sign that the potatoes evaporated out. So we're just going to kind of give this a minute here. Shake and shake. This again is one of those steps where it seems like nothing's happening, but it's so critical for, yeah, okay, I'm happy with that. I'm just feeling the potato. I grabbed one from the bottom. I was feeling it's really hot, but it's super dry, super cooked. Okay, awesome. So, you get yourselves a nice bowl. There's no water in it. We'll just head over to our table here, and in the restaurant we had what's called a tammy. It's basically a 5-mesh sieve, but it's flat. But these sieves work fine as well. So I'm just going to start the process of kind of pushing our potatoes through. So just working, using kind of the edge of the spoon to push down. It's working really nice. This is a labor of love, right? It's like all good food. We can mash it, we can do this, but this is going to give you the best result. You can see how fluffy and dry they are, right? It's all the steps of not moving them and stirring them when we're cooking. choosing the right potato, all that stuff. Get that results. Okay, so now we're gonna get ready and we're gonna start folding in some cream and stuff here. So, this is our weapon of choice. The old spatula. Because we don't want to agitate, right? So we want to be gentle, we want to fold, we're not going to whisk. We're just going to use this spatula here. And it's going to be perfect. And you can see, if you take this, just how smooth that potato is, right? No lumps. It's already creamy. It's already seasoned, base is seasoning from our salted water. So we're going to go in, start to add our cream and our butter. Start with half, do a wrap. And it's going to kind of look like nothing's happening. But it's almost like I'm folding whipped cream. Kind of coming in from the edges. You can tell I want more liquid in there. That's starting to get real nice. So what I'm kind of looking for is that it's God, they're so good. So steamy and hot though. Definitely needs more salt. This is gonna be I think I'm normal with my seasoning. These potatoes are crazy. So yeah, we're just going to keep adding liquid for a minute here, and going to kind of see how they sit after a minute. We're going to continue to add a little bit more liquid. I want these a touch looser. Treating them gently. More salt. It's just salt and fat and potato, guys. That's what makes these so good. And I think this is going to be it. So, kind of what I'm looking for. When they're this warm, so I pull them and they just kind of fall in on themselves slowly. That's the consistency. So once we get these seasoned, a little tasting spoon here. Do it right there. Woo! It's better than beef. I make this stuff just so I can eat the potatoes. Okay. Oh, so bad for you. Okay. These potatoes are done. They taste amazing. I think if you ate this bowl, you might just die. Like from a heart attack, I mean. But it might be worth it. That might be the best way to go ever. So, we've made super decadent pomme puree mashed potatoes. This could be, your last meal on your own. We made this to go with our beef burgie, which I think that episode is coming out before this one. Doesn't matter. But we're just going to show you just how creamy these are on the plate. And that's, I'm not really plating. What I'm trying to show here is just how smooth they are. You see how they just hold the lip of a curl. Like, if you walk into a restaurant and you see that side of mashed potatoes on the side, you're eating good. You're eating in a great place. Because this is one of those things where it is simple food, but it's so easy to screw it up. There's so many little steps along the way. But you put this in front of your family, some special dinner. Please only do it twice a year. It will be responsible for everyone's heart attacks. They will love you really dearly. So we'll call this twice a year pomme puree. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Thanks for watching. Why don't you watch another video? Like this one right here. Or subscribe right here. New videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 5 Eastern. Stay home, stay safe, eat well. Thanks.